Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Lesser Known But Awesome Heroes. And today, I'm going to be talking about an Avengers staple, a member who's always been, I'd like to think, on the Avengers. However, I'm going to do something different from that. When I did my Avengers edition, I talked about Hank Pym, who was the original version of this character. Well, today I'm going to be talking about the two other men who have held the title of Ant-Man. That's right, today I'm going to be talking about Scott Lang and, unfortunately, the irredeemable Ant-Man, Eric O'Grady. So let's not delay, let's get underway. Hey, I made that rhyme. Cool. Okay, Scott Lang first actually appeared as himself in Avengers issue 181 in March of 1979. However, he debuted as Ant-Man in Marvel Premiere issue 47 in April of 1979, so it was the following month. And he was created by John Byrne and David Michelinie. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, Michelinie. I probably just completely butchered that guy's name. Anyway, his team affiliations is that he's currently a member of the Secret Defenders alongside Doctor Strange, Black Cat, Iron Fist, and all of them. He's also the proposed leader of the Future Foundation. And he's also been a member of the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, Heroes for Hire, and Heroes for Hire. There we go. And he was also, I believe, part of the main Defenders. But more or less, I think they're referring to his Secret Defenders, because they just have it listed as Defenders. But anyway, the uniform grants size change, telepathic communication with insects, and maintains strength at normal shrunken state. Basically, he has all the same powers as Hank Pym when he was Ant-Man. Okay, here we go. Character biography. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and here we go. Scott Lang was born in Coral Gables, Florida. He had turned to burglary when his occupation as an electrics expert failed to support his family. Apprehended, he served his prison sentence and was paroled after 3 years for good behavior. In prison, he furthered his study of electronics and was soon hired by Stark International to work in its design department. Under Stark's direction, he helped install a new security system in the Avengers Mansion. When his daughter Cassie, who later became Stature, became seriously ill, he decided to return to burglary as a last resort. He broke into the home of Hank Pym and stole his Ant-Man uniform and shrinking gas canisters. Garbed as Ant-Man, he would break into the cross-technological enterprises and discover that Dr. Erica Sundhem, the only person capable of helping his daughter, was being held prisoner. He rescued the doctor and was relieved when the doctor was able to save Cassie's life. He had intended to return the Ant-Man costume to Pym and turned himself in for the theft. But Pym, aware of the use of which Lang had put the stolen goods to, offered to let him keep them providing he only used them to uphold the law. Shortly thereafter, Lang donned the Ant-Man costume on various occasions, predominantly to assist Iron Man and the Avengers. When Iron Man became trapped in his armor, Scott had saved him. He also helped Pym, who now went under the alias of Yellow Jacket, in attempting to rescue Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp, who had been captured by Dr. Parnell Solomon. Along with the Avengers, he first battled the Taskmaster. He then battled Oddjohn's mutated insects and encountered Biotron of the Micronauts. Alongside Spider-Man, he would again battle Taskmaster. And as himself, he attempted to stop the raiders at a Dallas Electronic Engineers Convention. Ugh, there we go. He then battled the malfunctioning GARD computer security system. He would then aid Jim Rhodes, aka War Machine, and Iron Man against the Mauler. He then met the Fantastic Four, and with them first journeyed to a micro world, and he battled alongside Ben Grimm, the Thing. Scott was instrumental in helping Iron Man discover who was possessing copies of his technology during the Armor Wars storyline. He also aided the Avengers in infiltrating Taskmaster's henchman training facility, where he battled Taskmaster alongside Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, and visited Hank Pym while he was in prison. He encountered Rick Jones in Alpha Flight and then battled the Dire Wraiths alongside Rom the Space Knight and Starshine. Scott was serving in an Avengers backup team created when Baron Zemo's Masters of Evil took control of the mansion and captured some of the current roster. He then helped the Wasp defeat the Absorbing Man and Titania when they attacked a hospital in an attempt to kill a comatose Hercules. He accidentally shrunk Spider-Man and battled Pym's old foe, the Scarlet Beetle. He also would battle the Dragonfly. Lang was even briefly hired by the Fantastic Four when Reed Richards was missing and presumed dead to serve as their technical consultant, helping them deal with such foes as the Dark Raider, an alternate psychotic Reed Richards who had failed to see his world saved from Galactus, until Reed was recovered from the past where he'd been trapped thanks to Hyperstorm. Also serving with the FF at this time was Christoph Vernard, who was the heir of Doctor Doom and himself a technical genius. Lang and Christoph often clashed, the younger man being very arrogant and cocky and basically putting down, Scott Lang's abilities. He did, however, design a new Ant-Man suit which Lang took full advantage of. Much to Lang's annoyance, he had become very close to his daughter Cassie, who also took a liking to him. Lang would later return to form a temporary Fantastic Four with the Human Torch, She-Hulk, and Namorita when the other three were trapped in the negative zone, almost said the Phantom Zone. The team disbanding after the other team members returned. Lang played an important role, however, in helping Mr. Fantastic cure the Hulk when he was suffering from Lou Gehrig's disease. Using a cure derived from the leader, Lang shrunk to microscopic size, entered the Hulk's genes, and replaced the damaged genes causing his disease with healthy genes taken from the corpse of Brian Banner, Bruce's father. The energy surge released when the Hulk returned to human form, integrating the new genes into his system and curing him of his disease. After Lang's ex-wife Peggy Ray gained custody of their daughter, Lang accepted an offer to join the Avengers officially. His personality often clashed with fellow Avenger Jack of Hearts. However, in Avengers Volume 3, Issue 76, Jack helped save Cassie from a child murderer shortly before committing suicide by traveling into space with the murderer and exploding rather than returning to the containment. Excuse me, frog in my throat. Exploding rather than return to the containment cells required to control his power. He also appeared in the series Alias by Brian Michael Bendis, where he dated the leading character Jessica Jones, a former costume superhero named Jewel, who left that vocation to become a private investigator. Here is Scott Lang's death. He dated private investigator and superhero Jessica Jones briefly. I just said that. I don't know why they felt the need to repeat that. He assisted her in the matter with Maddie Franklin, one of the many female superheroes to take the name of Spider-Woman. Assisting the duo is S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Clay Quartermain. Jessica's longtime enemy, the Purple Man, uses his powers to make it seem as if Scott had been consumed by ants. Shortly after this, Jack of Hearts reappears on the grounds of the Avengers Mansion, appearing as a zombie. He blows himself up, destroying much of the mansion and killing Scott in the process. This Jack may have been some type of apparition created by an insane Scarlet Witch, rather than the actual Jack of Hearts, starting the crisis known as Avengers Disassembled. Lang's daughter would take up the mantle of stature in the Young Avengers, having apparently taken enough Pym particles over the years to ensure her to automatically grow and shrink to whatever size she wanted. His helmet would fall in the hands of Amadeus Cho for a while, and he wore it with Cassie's blessing, choosing to focus on the insect mind-controlling abilities. However, during the events of the limited series Avengers the Children's Crusade, Iron Lad would take the Young Avengers and Wanda Maximoff, who had no memory of her time as the Scarlet Witch, into the past. There we go. Would take them into the past, back to the day of the events that Avengers Disassemble began. Here, despite his assurance that they should never interact, Cassie manages to hug her father and take him away from the zombified Jack of Hearts, who is revealed to be the real Jack under control of an insane Scarlet Witch. When he explodes, Scott survives unharmed, and the Scarlet Witch then regains her memories and returns them to the present. He is proud that his daughter followed in his footsteps. However, a subsequent battle ensues regarding the fate of the Scarlet Witch, involving the Avengers, the Young Avengers, the X-Men, Magneto, and Doctor Doom. In the course of the fight, Cassie would be killed. Scott would then join the new Defenders team, consisting of Doctor Strange, the Silver Surfer, Namor, Red She-Hulk, Iron Fist, and Black Cat. And he has also become the leader of the Second Future Foundation, replacing Reed Richards when the Fantastic Four went on a time travel trip. And with that, guys, that's it for Scott Lang. So let's move on now to Eric O'Grady. Okay, on to my least favorite version of Ant-Man, and that's Eric O'Grady, the irredeemable Ant-Man, and he debuted in his self-titled issue in September of 2006, and he was created by Robert Kirkman and Phil Heister. I think that's how you pronounce it. Hester. He's been a member of the Secret Avengers, the Thunderbolts, the Shadow Initiative, the 50 State Initiative, Damage Control, and S.H.I.E.L.D. He also has the prototype GI Ant-Man armor, which allows for him to shrink, grow, insect communication, which he is not very well versed in and tends to lack any skill in, a jetpack, to which he can actually detach parts of it and use it for flame projection. There we go. So in other words, the nozzles on his jetpack can actually be turned onto an enemy, so he can basically flamethrow them. And also robotic arms that have magnetic grapples. And he would actually go through a redesign of his armor eventually when he joined the Secret Avengers or so, to where his costume would more resemble the original Ant-Man costume, and he would also get wasp-like stingers in the gloves of his suit. Now, let's begin with his character biography. Okay, Eric O'Grady was a low-level agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. who stumbles upon Hank Pym's latest incarnation of the Ant-Man suit in S.H.I.E.L.D.'s headquarters. A man of very few morals and willingness to lie, cheat, steal, and manipulate in order to get ahead in life, he immediately steals the armor for his own selfish plans, which includes his status as a superhero. Which includes using his status, as a superhero to stalk women and facilitate his thievery. A running theme with the character is his evil side clashing with a desire to be accepted by others, which leads to Eric vowing to renounce his evil ways and become a proper hero, leading to a cycle of the character relapsing and vowing to change constantly. Okay. Mitch Carson, whom Grady looked up to, is a Shield security agent under Dum Dum Dugan. Originally picked out to be the wearer of the Ant-Man suit O'Grady stole, he was forced to wear a hastily built prototype suit based on the armor O'Grady had stolen. When S.H.I.E.L.D. discovered that O'Grady had stolen the suit, Carson confronted Eric in the new experimental suit. In the ensuing battle, Eric disfigured his friend's face by accident with his suit's jets, burning the left half of Carson's face and leaving him deaf and blind on that side as well. Despite what he did, O'Grady took him to the infirmary nearby to help the injured Mitch, who later vowed revenge. And as the series progressed, it's revealed that O'Grady's best friend and fellow S.H.I.E.L.D. surveillance agent Chris McCarthy was the first person who actually wore what would become O'Grady's Ant-Man suit. He was killed, however, during a Hydra attack when he was shot in the head by a Hydra agent. Eric took the suit off of Chris's dead body just before the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier crashed. And with his best friend dead, Eric set his sights on seducing and bedding Chris's girlfriend, Veronica King. The attraction resulted in the two having sex, leading to Veronica King's pregnancy, and Ant-Man ultimately abandoning her. Despite his attempts to seduce Veronica, Ant-Man continuously used his powers of shrinking to stalk women and watch them in various stages of undressing. One such scene is him spying on Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel, who had become a popular target of his ever-increasing venturism. Eric also would encounter the thief Black Fox and steal his possessions. And Black Fox later shows up looking for the jewels. O'Grady, however, had already sold them to a pawn shop. The two work together, getting all the money back and splitting the proceeds, with O'Grady keeping 15%. After saving the life of a child, he would encounter Damage Control. This organization offered him a job, and after obtaining a fake ID under the name Derek Sullivan and comes up with a new superhero name, Slaying Mantis, he consents. He meets a woman named Abigail, who he starts dating. He leases an apartment under his new name, and with Damage Control's help, begins to establish a new identity while continuing to hide from S.H.I.E.L.D. However, as Abigail begins to fall in love with him, she reveals to him that she is a single mother with a son. This in turn triggers Eric dumping Abigail over keeping her son's existence a secret from him while pursuing a romantic relationship with him. After another encounter with Abigail, she reveals to Eric that she possesses the ability to read people's emotions telepathically, and accuses him of truly loving her. And while trying to scan for his true feelings about her, he goes to answer her, but then, due to the World War Hulk storyline, the Hulk at this point had started attacking Manhattan. Eric reluctantly joins the fray and tries to attack the Hulk from the inside out. However, both the Hulk's stomach and his innards prove to be just as tough for Eric, and he ends up being discharged through one of the Hulk's nostrils after he sneezes. He awakes in a S.H.I.E.L.D. infirmary, to which Mitch Carson is standing by his bed, stating that he is under arrest. He would then take Eric to a secret room aboard the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier and proceeds to torture him. And while doing so, he reveals the shocking secrets to Eric that he had in fact used his position, as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent to cover up multiple murders he had committed over the years, proving to be a true psychopath. And just as he was about ready to burn Eric's face with the suit jet boosters, Iron Man would arrive and subdue him. Eric would then use Carson's confessions of past misdeeds to frame him for the whole stolen suit fiasco, saying he was only trying to stop him from using the suit for evil. However, Iron Man tells him that he does not believe him, but is quickly sidetracked by the arrival of Black Fox, who demanded that Eric be released and claims to have placed explosives throughout the helicarrier in order to extract his friend's freedom. However, Eric, having having a momentary lapse in judgment and wanting to do the right thing, refused the Fox's claims to protect him from Iron Man, and Black Fox was then arrested. Several weeks would pass, and while Carson's fate is left unresolved, it is shown that Eric has resumed his post aboard the helicarrier. Having been offered his own job under unknown circumstances, feeling guilty about Black Fox being imprisoned, he helps the elderly thief escape, and he admits to him that he's sorry for putting him through the ordeal of being arrested. Later on, he would refuse Veronica's attempt to work out an arrangement for raising their child, in part because of Eric's innermost fear that he would make a horrible father due to his general lack of ethics and morals. Meanwhile, despite their misgivings, Hank Pym and Iron Man would actually reluctantly give Eric his old Ant-Man suit back, and this was simply because none of the other candidates could wield the suit to the degree that Eric had demonstrated. However, it was on the condition that he would join the 50-state initiative, to which Eric would agree to. And in one last meeting with Abigail, he tells her that he does indeed love her. However, he tells her that he's going to be leaving for a while and wishes to be with her. And in doing so, he hopes to become a better person. However, before he leaves, he tells her his real name. In spite of his vows to Abigail, Eric would continue his lewd and irredeemable ways upon joining the initiative. He appears in Camp Hammond as an official recruit for the initiative alongside Crusader, Melee, Galdoff, Dragonlord, Jiger, Red 9, and Diamondback. In particular, during his first meeting with the Taskmaster, Eric attempts to slander the name of his predecessor, Scott Lang, by passing off stories of his lewd stalker behavior regarding Miss Marvel onto Scott, as well as claiming that Scott Lang was never really an official Avenger and that he was simply hiding inside the Avengers mansion during his tenure with the team and following the group around as a hanger-on. Unfortunately, Scott's daughter, Cassie, overhears Taskmaster and Eric laughing at Eric's lies and attacks by growing into giant size and attempting to step on the human-sized Eric. Using his suit to increase his size to fight the giant-sized version of Cassie, Eric tricks her into thinking she had stepped on and killed the superhero Stingray in order to knock her down with the cheap shot. This in turn causes Hank Pym to grow giant-sized and attack Eric, who, upon defeating Cassie, begins to mock her by yelling, "Who's your daddy now?" However, as their fight begins to attract the attention of people outside the initiative compound, the Taskmaster brings all three of the giants down with his shield. O'Grady is defeated by a clone of MVP along with most of the other recruits in his class. He hid under an unconscious Jiger and survived mostly unharmed. He hid from the rest of the action along with the Taskmaster. Eric is later seen having a counseling session with Trauma, who helped him with a repressed Naked Santa memory from his childhood. When the Skrull invasion happened in New York City, the Initiative are ordered to fight. Eric decides to avoid this by shrinking down and hiding. He soon discovers, however, that the Skrulls have taken over Camp Hammond. He aids the Shadow Initiative in a failed attempt to assassinate Queen Varanki. Escaping by once again shrinking down, Eric discovers the Skrulls' last resort plan to open a giant negative zone portal and have the entire U.S. removed from this dimension. Escaping the Skrulls on the back of one of their shock troopers, Eric brings the information to some of the remaining Initiative members, and they set out to stop the plan from happening. Following Secret Invasion's end, Eric is commended for his good work and is promoted to a position within the Thunderbolts. In their first mission, Ant-Man and the second Russian Black Widow sneak aboard. He is hidden in Black Widow's cleavage and takes control of Air Force One with Norman Osborn, Doc Samson, and the new president aboard. He secretly plans a gamma radiator on Doc Samson, causing the Doctor to increase in strength and anger, making him attack the president. However, O'Grady began to regret his actions in the Thunderbolts, but cannot do anything about it since Osborn would have him killed. Paladin advised that he wait until Osborn inadvertently loses his mind and is taken down. Ant-Man later secretly witnesses Paladin, Ghost, and Headsman turn against Mr. X and Scourge when they are ordered to execute Natasha Romanoff and Songbird, then erase their teammates' memories. He later assists in the capture of Luke Cage by entering his nervous system. However, when his teammates make no effort to extract him, O'Grady helps Cage to escape, later leaving his body while he is eating. O'Grady becomes increasingly disgruntled with the Thunderbolts and is concerned for his future. In order to earn some goodwill, he helps Captain America escape from custody in Captain America Reborn, asking that he keep this in mind in the future. Later, when sent with the rest of the team to infiltrate Asgard and steal Jormungandr, Gungnir, there we go. I couldn't figure out what the hell that word was there for a second. To steal Gungnir, Odin's signature spear, he would once again face off with Stature. After Scourge finds Gungnir, he attempts to take it to Osborn, but is stopped by Paladin, who has finally had enough of serving a madman. His teammate Grizzly attacks Paladin and attempts to kill him for treason, but O'Grady shrinks down and enters Grizzly's ear canal, incapacitating him and saving Paladin's life. As the mighty Avengers defeat what remains of the Thunderbolts, O'Grady finds Gungnir and gives it to Paladin, who decides to take it to a safe place where Osborn cannot find it. He says goodbye to O'Grady and departs. After the battle, he decides to reevaluate the choices he has made and do something good with his life for a change. He would later be seen as a member of the Secret Avengers using Hank Pym's classic gear. He was invited by the former Captain America, now reigning commander of superhuman affairs, Steve Rogers, who believes O'Grady can be a better person. He's positioned as the rookie of the team, who is teamed with War Machine, who believes he's not worthy of the Ant-Man name. In the arc of the opening 4 issues, he inadvertently stumbled upon a group of Shadow Council agents planning to blow up his teammates with a bomb, but was able to defeat them by detonating it early. The story, and later on, the story would open up with Eric riding high off his position as a secret Avenger, using it as a tool for sexual encounters with various women. Black Fox comes to him with info regarding AIM to hopefully boost his relationship with Ant-Man predecessor Hank Pym. When Abigail comes by, Eric admits his longing for a relationship with the intent of starting one, only for Abigail to find evidence of him being unfaithful. She leaves commenting he's improving as a superhero but sucks at being a person. O'Grady goes to Hank Pym's lab as Hank and Reed Richards discuss how to save their reality from being overwritten. Eric offers to help but is told to wait with his info. Eric waits and talks with Tigra, who knows about his power abuse to peep on women and warns him not to test her. Running into Stryker, Finesse, and Vale, he talks to the ladies into a private drinking party, where he passes out and they put shaving cream on his face before leaving him. After a bizarre break-in, Eric is awakened to find Stryker standing over him, who he blames for the shaving cream and starts a fight with him. Tigra saves O'Grady from Stryker's powers just as Pym then finally explains the situation, believing Eric brought in an alien who stole from Pym. It's revealed Fox used Eric to create an entrance and exit for a thief to steal an object from Hank's lab. He takes responsibility and teams with Pym to recover the stolen object. During a mission against Father, the creator of the World Facility with the Secret Avengers, he is beaten to death by Father's henchmen while defending a child's life. He later appears to be alive, but is revealed to be an LMD working for Father and helping him in a yet unknown plan with the new name of Black Ant. And that is it, guys. That is every single notation, if you will, on Eric O'Grady. And that is it also, guys, for this entire lesser known on Ant-Man. This was quite a long one, guys, talking about both of these characters, and surprisingly, O'Grady does have a lot of character history that I was quite unaware of. But nevertheless, though, guys, as always, hope you enjoyed this one. And as I always like to say at the end of these videos, and it's almost kind of a closing mockery catchphrase, if you will, but stay tuned for the next one.